Any tips on if you're back and forth with something?
If you're back and forth with something, then your vibration is scattered enough that you're not receiving the consistent momentum from the vortex. Now, let's talk about this just for a minute, because you know, when you're in that situation where should I or shouldn't I could do this or I could do that, don't know what to do, what are the best choices for me to make? We want you to consider that you've put all of the details into your vortex and they're shining bright, and the source within you is standing there knowing a magnificent sequence of events that's just going to surprise and delight you. Mm-hmm. So if your dominant intent is to make yourself feel as good as you can feel as much as you can, rampages of appreciation are wonderful, but sometimes you can't get there because your vibration is too far different. Meditation is a really good way to raise your vibration, because when you stop thought, you stop vibration, and when you stop vibration, you stop resistance, and when you stop resistance, your vibration raises. So anything that you can do that makes you feel a little better is really the thing that we would be going after. Every process that we've ever offered is toward that purpose. It's for the purpose of raising vibration. So when you realize that the vortex is full of all kinds of things you want and is really who you really are, and you are working deliberately to raise your vibration, then what happens is, as the frequency of you in your day-to-day experience comes up to the frequency of where your source is, so you're sort of like this, your source is steady and above. The frequencies of your source fluctuate too, but your ability to discern those fluctuations is non-existent. It would talk about beta gamma, something. In other words, you do not have the ability to discern the fluctuation in that frequency. So let's just say it's constant from your perspective. Yours is fluctuating a bit, but as you stay more in the range of who you are now, because your frequencies are harmonious, now ideas and inspiration is going to flow to you. And that's the way we would make, if we were standing in your physical shoes, every decision. If you're still in this either or thing, you're not there. If I could do this or I could do that, you're not there. But so we'd just keep pondering it, and we would continue to say general things like, well, things are always working out for me, and I'll get clearer about this, and I don't have to make the decision right now, and when I'm ready for the decision, it will come to me. It will come to me in an idea that is so clear that wild horses could not keep me from it. And those are the kind of decisions that we would make. Sometimes, do you ever have a moment like that where you're just so sure about something? So you proceed, and then you have buyer's remorse. Well, it doesn't mean that you weren't right the first time. It means you were a vibrational match to your vortex the first time. During the buyer's remorse, you're not. Now you're beating the drum of something unwanted. In other words, you were there, you got the idea, then you fluctuated, and then the idea is just left hanging there. You see, that was a good conversation. So what'd you get from it?
Stay up there.
And?
Try to maintain it.
And? Don't try too hard. Don't get yourself in a position where you are forced to make a decision until you've had time to align energy first. In other words, line up and then make your decisions. Never make a decision from a place of knowing what you don't want. Because when you make a decision from a place of knowing what you don't want, guess what momentum's working for you? More of what you don't want's going to come. More of what you don't want's going to come. More of what you don't want's going to come. More of what you don't want's going to come. Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is the action the moving of the energy? It feels like energy is this stream, and that the action, I don't have another word for it. The action is sometimes the coming into alignment and the moving of the stream.
We would like
it's
to
like
say to
plucking a stream.
We would like to say to
touching
you,
it.
this is a gathering that's going to be full of first-time conversation. We would like to say to you that all action is reaction, because all action is response to vibration.
It's moving outward, like from the center of vibration out. I mean, I think of it as like the ripples in a pond, and that at the center of that is...
But that's backwards, because it's coming inward to the point of attraction. So you have to consider that the ripples of a pond, there's a lot out there that's summoning those ripples to them.
So the ripples are moving into us?
Vibration, everything is
coming in as vibration toward us.
Everything is attraction. Everything is attraction. Everything is attraction. Of course, we could spend a long time dissecting the components of vibration, but we think there is a bigger fish to fry here that you are on the brink of.
So this is not going to seem like it relates, but it does.
Yeah.
In Asheville, you were talking to our friend Brian about going on being an intentional influencer of things, even if that was I think it was in the context of talking about his retirement. And what I heard you saying was that
all relationships are eternal.
All relationships are eternal, and that includes the relationships with the things that we've cared passionately about in our careers.
Yeah.
And that we can intentionally go on influencing those things, even when we are not physically present and working in the ways that we
So you're wanting to find action as the thought process that triggers the vibration that is the engine of this universe. Yes.
And that is so important for those of us who are moving through our careers and moving through our lives, and as that gentleman said, not motivated to act in those same ways, but wanting to be an integral part of all of that with intentionality.
Well, once you get this conversation under your belt and you realize that your only work is the preparation of your own grid, then so much of the action that you're spinning your wheels doing and spending all of your time doing, the thing that primarily causes people discomfort is shortage of time or shortage of money or shortage of space or shortage of something. And once you get hold of the leverage of understanding your grid and understanding your point of attraction, then what humans want to call action becomes sort of not part of the equation. The momentum just carries you from one good idea to another, to another, to another, to another. And on the heels of a good idea comes an actualization. What bothers people mostly about the conversations we have about deliberate creation is that they will get clear about something, they'll even come into alignment about it, they'll feel good about it, but because they haven't consistently done it, because they're up and down about it, they have buyer's remorse about it, then they slow the process, and so the expanse of time between the time they hatch the idea and it comes into manifestation is so long that they are impatient, and so then they try to goose it along through action that isn't satisfying action because they're goosing along from a point of attraction that's not in harmony with what they really want. Where if you put your time and energy in action, if you would meditate more and make fewer to-do lists, you would be better off. If you would do more rampages of appreciation and less sending out polls to find out what everybody else thinks, you would be better off. In other words, as you do the work that brings you into alignment with who you are, as you prepare your grid, then the inspiration flows, the ideas flows, and right behind the inspiration is the actualization. In other words, the people, the resources, ideas are simpler, aren't they? Following the Asheville seminar, you know about this, but we're going to tell you again and others. Following the Asheville seminar, there was a seminar in Atlanta. And we talked about the grid. We talked about your point of attraction. We talked about letting it be the primary thing that your awareness is about. And then we said, as a result of the hours that we had spent together, that the vibration of your being, your human being, your grid, had raised so significantly that the contents of your vortex are now easily accessible. And then we said, now watch what happens next. Watch what happens next. So off a bunch of them went in a van that Esther had rented in Asheville. Off they went with a sort of plan. They were going to have lunch and go visit a museum of sorts. And that was about all. And then someone softly interjected into the conversation, the circus is in town. The circus, that wonderful circus is in town. And Esther thought, I know about those tickets. And how do you even get there? But we live in a magical universe, and so they had lunch and they did the things that were planned, and on the way they saw the tent off there in the distance, all those colored tents. But they didn't have tickets and they didn't know how to get there. So they were on their way to the plan that was in place, headed back to the hotel, and Esther is driving, following the navigational system, and totally took a wrong turn. Totally. A wrong turn. And she knows on those freeways that once you take a wrong turn, you can be way. So her impulse was to take the very next exit. And then she sees a sign for McDonald's, and she announces to everyone, as she had been announcing all the way from Asheville to Atlanta, last chance for a soft serve ice cream. And even though no one really wanted it but Esther, she followed the sign to a non-existent McDonald's and found herself in a neighborhood that had nothing commercial in it. So she's turning and drove right into the circus. Right into the circus. Right into the circus. Now, there's nothing that feels better than following impulses towards something you want when you don't know you're doing it. There's something so delicious about the explosion of the manifestation or the actualization, that surprise and delight at the confirmation that things are always working out for you. And then it went on and on and on. They met a nice man. They were in a place they shouldn't be. He allowed them to turn around and park. Some of them got out of the car and bought the last 6 tickets. The last 6 tickets. So then they had a little while before they went to eat. The people in the restaurant said, "You got tickets? We've been trying to get tickets. You got tickets? We've been trying to get tickets." It's hard to explain that things are always working out for you. It's hard to explain. It's about timing, isn't it? It's about timing. Actualization is about timing. Actualization and timing are about vibration. Vibration is about coming into vibration with who you really are. It's all about emotion, isn't it? It's all about tending to the grid. So if humans would spend less time, that's you, humans. If dearly beloveds, want to make it personal, would spend less time trying to figure out how to do it and where to do it and when to do it, and you would spend your time, how can I feel good right now? What could I do that make myself feel better right now? How can I come into alignment right now? If you would tune to the vibration of your source, then there's this flowing, this gentle, not dramatic, not traumatic, this gentle ease of what you need when you need it, just this constant unfolding. It's what makes you feel you're most worthy and you're most blessed. We're at the end of this time. We're appreciating this interaction. Good time for a segment of refreshment. We have enjoyed this interaction way more than words can convey. And we have been conveying it all day with energy. We'd like that you got some of that. Be easy about all of this. Life is supposed to be fun, you know. You are a unique group because you know what to do. You do understand about vibration. You do understand about your emotional guidance system. You do expect, for the most part, for things to go well for you. It is our desire that you watch for the immediate evidence of the newly adjusted vibration that we've accomplished here today. You're in a different place than you were, and different results must manifest. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain in the vortex.